Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it is Silicon Steve Valley here, and I continue to keep on spitting out some brilliance, some sports entertainment and professional wrestling brilliance, takes that only I have the ability to give. That's not true. I'm not that special. But pretend I was, and pretend like you cared that what I said actually mattered. So we're talking about the World Tag Team Championship from this past Saturday. We had Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega, who had, out of nowhere really, an extraordinarily successful run as Tag Team Champions. Of course, we said has. Spoiler alert, FTR did win. Like, nobody knew that wasn't, like, anybody thought that wasn't going to happen. I think the writing was on the wall in every single aspect. FTR was going to walk out the Tag Team Champions. So that gave a lot of mixed reviews, but overall I thought it was a very good match. I thought it was possibly a little long. I thought the crowd was lagging, but the nuances and the story told and the execution of the match itself, with the exception of maybe the length, which I was okay with, but I can see why people complained about it, the crowd wasn't into it at all either. But besides that, in terms of the match, I thought the match was fantastic. I thought the match was as good as it was going to be. They never wrestled before, as four of them together. You know, Young Bucks, I mean, there's a lot of history with Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page, and the Young Bucks. Those guys have been in the ring together almost on a weekly basis for 5 years. So you see that. So I thought the expectations might have been a little high for this match, but I thought the match delivered, particularly in terms of storyline. What do I mean by that? And I'm gonna smoke here in beautiful Northern California. I can do whatever I want with marijuana because we have brains in our head here in California. Anyways, so there were so many little nuances and little subtleties in this match. This match has Kenny Omega's hand all over it. And what people aren't understanding about Kenny Omega is they just have heard about, or just all they did was see the Okada Omega matches. You're probably wondering, well, okay, the guy's a great wrestler, and those are great matches, what have you. If you don't know who Kenny Omega is as a heel and as the cleaner, and if you have no idea what you are in for, buckle the fuck up. Kenny Omega is 10 times the dynamic character as a heel that is as a babyface. And fight me. Don't at me with your shit. What other cheesy cliche people say on Twitter? Don't at me. You know. Kenny Omega, and what I love about this too, and toward the end, it wasn't a full-blown heel turn. They are really milking this for as long as they want. And I thought that was great. But let's go through the actions. Beginning of the match, Kenny started the match, and Adam Page was really angry, and he's hurt, and he's confused. And what we're going to do right now is, so basically I'll go through the match real quick, then we'll go through the character arcs of what we're going to be talking about, because I am so excited, and I am honored, and I am so happy to see this kind of long-term story building. I literally cried twice during being the Elite today, on Monday, literally. And we're going to get into all that in a short while, but I'll tell you what. It started out, Kenny obviously is pissed off at Hangman for what happened the Wednesday before. Kenny was obviously, and he has been kind of whatever with Hangman for a couple months now. He's like, oh, we're just single stars that have the tag team titles. That's just the way we are. Bucks are a lot better than us. Kenny never really took this team seriously. And he maintained a business type attitude toward it. Hangman doesn't act like a professional. Hangman's having his issues, and so Kenny hesitated in the beginning of the match. Hangman wanted in because he wanted to attack FTR because he feels betrayed by them, and he also wants to have them share with some of the responsibility with his actions against the Young Bucks. So what's going on now is Hangman asked Kenny, and Kenny's like, use your head, I'll let you in. And so then Hangman goes house of fire on FTR, and Kenny has to interject and like, dude, you got to calm down and get in the game. So Kenny was, in the beginning of the match, already annoyed. Kenny should have been fighting. And what I love about this is that you're going to see these subtleties about Kenny was kind of the jerk-off here. And obviously, much later, we're going to figure out that he's even more of the jerk-off. But also, but we can start with that, you know, you start with that, and then they have a really good match, a couple of really awesome spots, what have you. Match goes a little long. You can go watch the match. I'm not going to tell you everything that happens. But toward the end of the match, essentially what happened was Hangman had Kenny was holding, I believe Dax was holding Dax. Actually, no, it was Cash. Was holding Cash to for the buckshot lariat. Cash ducked, so did Kenny, so both missed the lariat. Then they turn around, Hangman gets Cash, Kenny hits him with a V-trigger, but Cash moves and then actually hits Hangman with the V-trigger. Then they did a great job working on Kenny's leg all match long, which wound up being a very big part. The match was brilliant, by the way. It would take me an hour to go through this match and all the subtleties and psychology that goes into it. What they did was great, and if you didn't get it, you didn't get it. That's fine. If you thought it was too long, that's fine. But they did exactly what they wanted to do on every level. So anyways, Kenny hits the V-trigger. Chop block is done by Cash again. Then they isolate Hangman. They give him the spike pile driver. And it looked like that was going to be it. And that would have been even less climactic. So I guess to throw a little charge in there and show Hangman's heart and make it more sympathetic, he kicks out of the first spike pile driver. I think they call it the skull crusher or the skull breaker or the brain... it's not brain breaker. Head buster or something. But anyways, he kicks out of it. And then they're like, okay, we're going to do it again. They hit him with another spike pile. This time they keep Kenny at bay, and then they get the pin. So they have their celebration. They leave. Congratulations to who right now is absolutely my favorite tag team on this planet, and that's Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, FTR, and absolutely fantastic. And then at the end of that, after they leave, you have Hangman Adam Page. And, of course, you have Kenny Omega. Hangman's laid out. Kenny's hurt. Not selling the leg quite as much as I would have liked him to. But, overall, he's pissed off. The adrenaline's flowing. And he looks pretty pissed off at Hangman, but not 100%. Then he goes out. He gets the... he had this... But when he came back in, he had the table, the small table he was going to hit Hangman with, and you thought, here comes the big turn, here comes the big turn. And this is how good Kenny Omega is, or whoever's idea this was. You know what? We're not going to give them the beatdown that everyone thinks is coming tonight. We're not going to give it to them. So what they do in a beautiful way, which is even more poignant, is they have Hangman Page go to, kind of like collapse on Kenny, and Kenny just steps out of his way and turns his back on him and walks out. And then he has that conversation with the Young Bucks about how we got to get things back to the way they used to be and all that. So that's where we're at. And the Young Bucks did not get in the car with him, which is key. And then, so right now we have Kenny going on his own thing. This is how it left on Saturday. They have Kenny doing his own thing. Hangman is a man on his own island, completely lost, with no friends. He lost his championship. He lost his friends. He lost maybe his career, obviously not his career. But Hangman is a very, very sympathetic character, and yet he was the one that screwed the Bucks over. So the Bucks are the sympathetic characters here, and so is Hangman Adam Page. Kenny drives away, and FTR establishes themselves as the best tag team in the world on top of the biggest and best tag team division on the planet. That's the reality here. And they did it coming in, and now we're going to go into character arcs and where these guys are going from here.